not every day that you get to be part of a signing for a check for $478 million from the federal government. This is a process that began probably 30 years ago in this community as people began to plan and design and think about how can we link the great communities of St. Paul and Minneapolis, and how can we really work together as a region. And for me, the Central Corridor Light Rail Project is so symbolic that we are really working together as a region, and that this investment will help us to bring us closer together in our goals of serving this community, bringing jobs here, and creating opportunity for all the citizens in the Twin Cities. The first person I want to call on to speak is our governor. Our Governor Dayton has done so much to support jobs and economic growth here in our community, and this project of the Central Corridor is really about economic opportunity for all. Governor Dayton.
Thank you very much, Chair Haig. I apologize in advance for having to speak and then depart, but this is a terrific celebration, and Administrator Rogoff, please feel free to come anytime with a check for $478 million. In fact, come every day if you can. You know, everybody else who's up here has earned their place, and many of you in the audience deserve to be up here as well for your very hard work to make this day happen. I'm the least deserving of everyone. I feel like the rookie who was picked up on waivers at the last minute and is now going with the team to the Super Bowl, because obviously I just stepped in, so I think to pay credit to Governor Plenty and former Met Council Chair Peter Bell and former members of the Met Council and all of you who have worked very, very hard, along with everybody who's back here, to make this day happen. And it's a great day for Minnesota. It's a great public partnership, and we welcome the involvement of the private sector as well to move this forward. And it shows what happens when people with a vision and a commitment to make that vision a reality can achieve, despite whatever the obstacles are, through their perseverance, hard work, cooperation, and I salute everybody who's been involved. Thank you very much.
And we have the two greatest champions for this region, Mayor Coleman and Mayor Ryback, transit advocates, people who collaborate and work together, and I'm very proud to introduce them both, mayors.
Well, good afternoon, everyone, and congratulations. What an incredible day in the city of St. Paul. I know it's an important day because Harry Melander has a tie on, and so, you know, there's only two occasions. One's a funeral, and one is a celebration like this, and it's today is an incredible celebration. I wish I had time to just go through everyone in this room to thank you personally for the efforts that you have put into making this line possible. The work that you've done, the folks that aren't here, like John Finley, who years ago on the county board had the vision for it, Commissioner Ortega, who you led for so long on the Regional Rail Authority, and there are just so many fathers and mothers to this incredible victory that we have here today. I want to personally thank my planning and economic development staff. Just recently, we passed the zoning ordinances along the corridor under Donna Drummond's leadership and others that have made this possible. Thank you, because what matters is not that we build a rail line between St. Paul and Minneapolis. It's that we get it done right. It's that we get it done in a way that benefits the community. It's that a way that really benefits the city of St. Paul and this entire region for years to come. And I'm really convinced that that is what we have created here. That is what we celebrate. Not the $480 million, that's not bad. We like that. But it's a celebration about the future of our community, and that we came together to get it done in spite of some obstacles. One of my favorite phrases is Nancy Holman's likens this all to a 5,000-piece jigsaw puzzle. Nancy's not here today, but I hope that we all thank her for the incredible work that she has put into this project, because it is a jigsaw puzzle. Today what we do is we kind of have finished the border of the jigsaw puzzle. We have completed it, and we still have this beautiful vision on top of the box of what this is going to become, but there are a lot of pieces that still need to be filled in. There are a lot of parts of the picture that we don't see yet on the table, but we know what it looks like. We know what the picture on the box looks like, and we're going to continue to build that. So there are a lot of us in this room, and Nancy and others, that will be the ones that are up late at night with the light on and their reading glasses, working piece by piece by piece. And there will be others that will just kind of walk by every once in a while and go, here, that piece goes here. If you've ever worked a jigsaw puzzle, there's always the annoying person that just comes by every once in a while and just puts that piece in. But they all contribute. They all help put that puzzle together, and they all make it come to life. Today we have framed in that puzzle. The pieces are yet to come, but I am convinced that we are building one beautiful picture for the future of our community. Thank you for being a part of it.
Somewhere in the real recesses of my brain is a TV image. I think it might have been in black and white, but I do remember the press conference when they opened 94. And I remember how important it seemed at the time, but I don't think at the time we could have said what that really meant. At that moment when 94 was opened, we ushered in a generation of era, a new generational era in which we would begin to define a deeper connection between our two cities and define it primarily by the car. And we said that we're going to come together closer, we'll have to sacrifice some neighborhoods, and we will do it by using the car. That was what happened for a generation here. And we're stronger in many ways because of that. That era today ends. Today the era begins in which we say these cities will come together by growing together in neighborhoods that are livable and walkable and transit-oriented, in a way of moving around that is less dependent on fossil fuels, and more than anything else, in a way that makes us a far stronger place to live and work. This today starts a new era. It's not happening because of one person or the people up here, but I think Mayor Coleman said it so well with that puzzle analogy that multiple people on many levels have been part of this vision. It's nice to celebrate today, but we would be losing the opportunity if we said that the work that we've done ends today. We need to continue the advocacy for this and to make sure this happens, but we also need to move forward dramatically and quickly on new additional ways to move around. Transit's like golf. You don't use the same club on every part of the course. So we need to move forward on light rail and on the streetcars we're planning on Minneapolis and on the bus rapid transit. We need to move the East Metro far faster than we have done before, and we need to all be together as a coalition. The thing that most people here don't see is that a lot of the members up here are part of some amazing meetings that have been going on about what we're calling now corridors of opportunity, where we sit around and people from these amazing county commissioners, like Commissioners McLaughlin and McDonough, and different people from all over the group here, come together and think big thoughts about how we're going to do this better. We're going to move fast in Minneapolis. We're moving on not only that transit, but we're about to break ground on Riverside Plaza, which will put a $100 million project with 90 people from the zip code working on it right at the heart of this, and that's one of multiple pieces of work we do. Thank you, everyone, for doing that. Sue Haig's point about the business community is really important because rarely have we had the business community and the political community come together at such a critical time as when that was happened. And Jay Coles and Charlie Zelli, two people who've lived and worked in both cities, I think have been phenomenal leaders on that. Thank you all for being part of this. The work stops for about an hour when we do this and it begins again. Let's make sure this next generation of how we get around and how we grow is even more sustainable and exciting for our community. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you, mayors. We are grateful for your leadership and we're grateful for your partnership for this region. This is an exciting time for the Twin Cities to see the work that the two of you do together. It's really inspiring. I'm really grateful to have our U.S. Senator here today, Senator Al Franken. Senator Franken has been a strong supporter of this project and transit and transportation investment, and we're honored. Senator Franken, thank you so much for taking time to be here.
It's true I've been a strong supporter of this, but I'm a little in the sort of the governor's camp here, as I really don't deserve much credit. I didn't fight it. And I was for it. I was for it the whole time I've been there. I'm doing everything I could. I would like to say that I just did not get Chris's jigsaw analogy. Jigsaw puzzle. or the golf analogy. I just. Okay. Look, this is a great day, obviously, and there are so many people here who deserve to be celebrating and be celebrated, and you know who you are, so I'm not going to have you stand up or raise your hand or applaud yourself or all the other things that other people have you do. I think that's unnecessary, frankly. What's great about this is that this is an example of really smart investment. Yes, we're creating all these jobs. And yes, we're tying the communities together. And I did like what you said about the kind of way we're tying the two. And it's not just tying the two communities together, it's part of an entire metro system, which is really important. And less dependent on the automobile and less dependent on fossil fuels, and allowing people the ability to get around and conduct business and do things without having to have a car, for goodness sakes. And the thing that this kind of gets at the importance of growth. And this will create economic opportunity all over the place in this metro. We have a budget crisis now. We know that. We've had them before. We had it after World War II. We know one thing. We can't get out of this crisis only by growing. But boy, we aren't going to get out of it if we don't grow. And this is the kind of growth, this is the kind of intelligent growth, this is the kind of smart growth, this is the kind of investment in our future that will continue to pay dividends and dividends and dividends long after that beautiful jigsaw puzzle is finished. Now I get it. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Senator Franken. The next person I'm going to call up to speak is someone who I began to work with right after I got elected. I was elected to the county board in I started serving in 1995, and that's when I started working to advance the Central Corridor Light Rail Transit Project. So it's pretty darn exciting to be back here over 15 years later for this important day. But one of the greatest allies for the investment of the Central Corridor and its importance to St. Paul and its importance to the East Metro, and the importance of an anchor that really means something to this community like the Union Depot is Congresswoman Betty McCollum. Thank you for everything you've done.
Boy, I said it before in the other room, Alice, it's happening. This is so exciting to be here today. And it's raining, and I actually think it's perfect because each and every one of you is a little raindrop. Each and every one of you contributed to today. And as the rain collects and as it builds, it's going to flow into the mighty Mississippi, which is known all around the world as the great river it is. So I want to thank all of you, business community, private sector, nonprofits, elected officials. Thank all of you. You all deserve a round of applause for gathering here together to make this great moment happen. Well, today the Central Corridor becomes a reality, and that's a good thing because there's a little construction going on around out there. And I want to thank Administrator Rogoff for all of his efforts on behalf of the Central Corridor. You provided great leadership, the FTA. You took all my phone calls. And when this project needed your leadership the most, you took the time to really understand, to dig in, and to meet the needs of our community and our metropolitan area. This project, as many of us know, was a long time coming, and it could not have come at a better time. The Central Corridor, as it's been pointed out, is going to create thousands of jobs. It's going to provide residents and commuters with an alternative rather than just paying dollars for high gas prices at the pump. This rail line will finally establish a permanent transit link into the future between the East and the West Metro. This region now has a single, modern, efficient transit system. And it took unprecedented partnership, as I said, from many of you here. Government, but most importantly, the business community, who never walked away when times got tough because they knew the importance of Minnesota being able to compete globally by having this line completed. So I want to really thank the business community. You were our anchor. Now, our work's done for today, but as the mayor's pointed out, there's a lot more work to do into the future. So one of the things that I need to do is go back and fight for continued funding for smart investments, as Senator Franken said, because the only way our children are going to have a bright future is if we lay down a foundation for that. So that's what we're doing with the rail today, and all on board. I can't wait to ride the first train.
Thank you, Congresswoman. We really appreciate your energy and your commitment to this project over many, many years. Well, the main event here today, we've been waiting to hear from, is our Federal Transit Administrator, Administrator Peter Rogoff. He is a tremendous leader for the country. He's the second top-ranked person in transportation in the Obama administration. He lives and breathes transit and transit investment. He really understands transit-related investment around corridors. He was already out this morning meeting with Asian business leaders about the impact of the corridor, and that's his commitment to community. And it's just a great pleasure to have him here. Thank you, Administrator Rogoff.
Thank you. This really is a great day for the Twin Cities, and it's a great day for Minnesota. It's a great day for thousands of Minnesota construction workers that are still waiting for a steady paycheck. But just as importantly, it's a great day for thousands more Minnesotans that are looking to save more of their paycheck and not spend it at the gas pump. And as President Obama's Federal Transit Administrator, I'm here to tell you that the Obama administration is thrilled to be your partner in this project. With the signing of this grant agreement today, the Obama administration has committed to awarding nearly $480 million, half the total cost, to this, the single largest public works project in the history of Minnesota. You really should be tremendously proud of that, and I want to thank all of the stakeholders that you've heard from here today.
I want to call up our city council member in St. Paul, Melvin Carter. There are many city council members in both Minneapolis and St. Paul who have been involved with advocating for this project, listening to the community. City Council Member Carter was really instrumental in leading the group that helped to get the additional stops on this project to make it really serve this community in the best way possible. And I want to call up Melvin Carter.
Good morning. Is it still morning? Good. Thank you, Chair Haig, and to all who've spoken today for your words, and more importantly for your leadership and the leadership of so many people in this room to make this day truly be a reality. Luckily, I get to go close to the end, and most of what needs to be said today has already been said, so I can be brief if you understand that I just agree with all the stuff that everybody has already said. My name is Melvin Carter, and as the representative of Ward 1 in St. Paul, I represent one side or the other of University Avenue, from Snelling to 35E. For the community that I represent, today is an incredible occasion, and we have a lot of emotions about this. It's a time for celebration, and it's also a time for reflection. Not far away from here, my grandfather once worked a thankless and often nameless job as a Pullman porter at the Union Depot. He worked hard, scraped together his money, and eventually had enough money to purchase a couple of investment properties, over half a dozen investment properties on Rondo Avenue. Unfortunately, progress took those properties from him when Rondo was uprooted to build the freeway. Thinking about my grandfather today helps me remember the gravity of this moment and the understanding that our mayor said and so many other people have said that our work is not done yet. Today marks a completion of an important leg of our journey, but we're nowhere near the finish line. If you know anything about this project, if you know anything about Central Corridor, you know that this process has not been without controversy. We've argued over what street to put it on. We've argued over whether it should go above or below ground, how many stops there should be, and where those stops should go. And we've argued about everything else from colored concrete to crosswalks. We've argued in Minnesota, we've argued in D.C., and I think we've argued just about everywhere else that Administrator Rogoff has stopped along the way. And we're still not done arguing. There's still things for us to argue over. And those arguments, some of them have been painful, but really important. And I think we can all be this proud of this line because those conversations made this project even better. There's a lot of people who've had important roles in the process and many who've already been acknowledged today, but I definitely want to call out first my colleague on the St. Paul City Council, Russ Stark. Russ and I have spent so much time together on Central Corridor that my 3-year-old actually refers to him as my brother. I also see one of my colleagues from Minneapolis City Council, across the Great Water, Cam Gordon. I'd also point out my own legislative aide, Akua Lee, and all the other kind of fantastic city staff members from both cities who have worked so hard on this project. I'd call out neighborhood organizations like the Preserve and Benefit Historic Rondo, the District Councils Collaborative and Isaiah, the business organizations like the Chambers, like the University Avenue Business Association, like the Asian Economic Development Association, and all these people who have worked so hard over so many years, constantly challenging this project to do better by the communities that it has to serve. I appreciate their hard work because in order for this progress that we celebrate today to serve my children better than we served my grandfather, this train is going to have to carry a really heavy burden of hopes and dreams for good jobs, for good housing, for good business opportunities. And it's going to have to carry that burden up a really tall mountain of fear and cynicism and pain. I'm almost done, but I think as I think about that burden and that lift that we have in front of us, about another train that my mother used to tell me about when I was a kid, that carried a really heavy load up a really steep cliff, just based on the willingness to say, the courage to say, I think I can, and the willingness to back up those words with some really hard work. Even beyond today's signing, I think this project will continue to face important questions. To me, the most important question is whether we can stay optimistic and hardworking enough to build a train that not only looks good, but is good for carrying forward the people in our community who need a lift the most. I think we can. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Carter, for your leadership and the leadership that will be required yet in the years to come on this corridor.